Hi my loves, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Emily. Thank you so much for joining me. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I create my Sims from start to finish. If you've ever wondered how I bring my characters to life, or if you want some tips and tricks for your own Sims creations, you're in the right place. We're starting with the very first basics. When you open up your Sims game for the first time, it'll direct you to a new game where you can create a Sim. So for purposes of my game, since I've already opened it, I'm just gonna hit new game. Once I've opened up my new game, it asks me if I would like to create a story. It can do a fun personality quiz, and then afterwards you can customize the appearance. I am way too type A to do this, so I'm gonna hit no thanks. Let's talk about CAS Mods, and the very first one being custom backgrounds. As you can see, I use a custom background instead of the default blue one that The Sims comes with. It's a simple but effective way to make the Create a Sim experience feel more personalized and immersive. This particular background I'm using here is the Baby Gal 1231, and I love how it adds more atmosphere to the whole process. It really feels like I'm in my Sims closet and I'm completely dressing them up. The next mod that I feel is essential to a better CAS experience is the More CAS Columns mod. If you've ever felt limited by the number of options you can see in the CAS menu, this one is a game changer. With this mod, I can see so many more of my items at once, which saves so much time and makes browsing through clothing, accessories, and hairstyles a breeze. I have a lot of CC, so this is definitely needed. You can add up to more than 3 columns, and I think you can add up to 5 columns. Just keep in mind that everyone's PC ratios and display ratios are different, so you want to pick the one that fits your screen the most. Are we noticing something a little different about my Sim? Yeah, that's right. She is not going anywhere. This next mod is a must for me, and it's the Stand Still in CAS. It's exactly what it sounds like. It stops the Sim from constantly moving around while I'm editing them. Sometimes you literally have to chase them around the screen. So with this mod, you don't have to do that anymore, especially when you're tweaking their facial features or an outfit. It makes creating Sims so much smoother. Next, we have the CAS Lighting mod. This mod lets me adjust the lighting and create a Sim so I can see exactly how my Sim looks in different lighting conditions. It's especially helpful when I want to make sure their skin tone and makeup look perfect before I finish creating them. Sometimes the biggest part about creating a Sim is that you can't see clearly, especially with the lighting that comes in game. So it's so nice to have this mod to be able to really just see exactly every single detail I'm adding on to my Sim. Lastly, for a bit of fun, I use the Instant CAS Stories mod. This one is perfect if you like creating Sims with a little backstory right from the start. It instantly generates a random backstory and traits for your Sim, which can be great for inspiration. It's a fun way to shake things up if you're feeling stuck or you want to try something new. I will always stand by the fact that I am such a type A girly when it comes to my Sims 4 gameplay, so being able to choose these aspects of my Sims story and life from CAS just makes everything so much smoother. You can give your Sims a career, you can give your Sims a skill, or you can give your Sims a degree, or you can do all 3. I think this is so nice, so easy. It saves the amount of time you have to do when you're typing in cheats, and there's so much variety. Moving on to some of my favorite default replacements. One of the first things I always change is the underwear. I use large tater tots default replacements for underwear, and I just love how it makes everything look so much more realistic and cohesive. The original underwear that comes with base game is like this bright, ugly pink, so I love that I'm able to change this. The replacements come in a variety of styles and colors, and so they can fit any Sims personality, whether they're more practical or just a little bit more stylish. The next default replacement that I love having in my game is Dawn eyes. These eyes are so pretty. They have such a natural look, which can really just make your Sims expressions pop. I love how vibrant the colors are without being way too intense. If you want your Sims to have eyes that are both realistic and stunning, this mod is for you. I recommend having a default replacement for eyes because that way all your Sims look exactly the same. This way, it kind of is realistic in a sense. Like, we all as humans have the same range of eye colors, but because the CC eye colors can vary in how the pupils look and the size of everything, it just makes more sense, and it just makes everything more cohesive when the Sims all have the same default replacement eyes. The last default replacement I have in my game is going to be seen best when I remove all of her makeup, and that is the default EA lashes are gone. I find that the EA lashes can sometimes look a bit too thick or unnatural, so I prefer to swap them out for something more subtle and realistic. This is a fantastic mod by Kichiko that completely removes the default lashes from the game, which lets me add my own custom lashes that fit the look I'm going for. You can kind of see the example of what I mean by the thick lashes that come with the EA game. This is not eyeliner, guys. This is what they think are lashes. And even in the false lashes or the new lashes that they have in the game, these are the ones they have. Like, that is not realistic at all. Now, let's get into the actual process of me creating a sim. I start by gathering inspiration and thinking about what kind of sim I want to create. Pinterest is a really good place to find aesthetics and inspiration. It's also a really good place to find CC, which I'll talk about later. Today, I'm going to be creating a sim that is highly inspired by the cottagecore aesthetic, and I feel like I want her character to be based on the fact that she loves music and plays the harp professionally. Pinterest is such a good place for a variety of ideas. You can really just pin anything that fits the vibe. There are so many different things that you can choose from, and you don't even have to do anything complicated. Just pin certain aesthetics and photos that just you feel might resonate with your sim. It really isn't something that should take you long. I think this is actually pretty fun. You really just see what fits and put into your board, and that way you can have some inspiration. Once I get an idea of the kind of sim that I want to create, I start off by taking off everything, stripping my sim naked of any personality, as you can see, and I always start off in skin color. I start this off because different features fit different skin tones, so when I change it first, I'm able to see what exactly I need to do for the rest of my sim. I use Lumia's custom skin colors or CC skin tones because they are just so rich. They are added skin tones into the game, and I just feel like the colors just pop out more, and then I also customize those to my liking too. Once I got the skin tone down, now we edit the different presets that my sim has. So I used a preset for her nose, but I still like to go in and personally edit this. I think this is what takes the most time, is editing like those small details, the eyes, the nose, the lips. It takes me around an hour to an hour and a half to create a sim. It really depends. Sometimes if it's just one random NPC that I know I'm going to be seeing around in my world, but I'm not going to be too focused on, I take a lot less time. But when it's a sim that I want to play with or that I really want to focus on, it can take some time. One thing I will say about editing these features is that sometimes when you mess with them too much, it can get a little messy, and you can for sure just like mess up it. And you can see it in the brows. I was trying to perfect these brows, but in the process of trying to perfect them, I ended up messing them up so much that I could not find the shape that I liked. I should have just kept them the way that I had in the clip, but man, oh man, it can be a challenge. Sometimes you feel like you want to start over, but it definitely is worth it. Let's talk about what exactly presets are and my favorite kinds to use. You can get presets in basically any feature in The Sims. For example, you can have eye presets, nose presets, lip presets, and you can even do cheek and jawline presets. It's essentially a constructed part of the face or part of the body for your sim that's like pre-constructed, meaning you don't actually have to do editing to it unless you want to. So I love the Hibiscus, I think that's how you say it. I really like their presets. As you can tell, they're pretty much the main basis of all the presets I have. I have one by Peach Fairy. This one's also a really nice one. You can tell based on before, I do edit my noses a lot just for my liking, but I really like theirs. For lip presets, I like the Northern Siberian Wind ones. However, I will say that these are a little bit difficult to edit yourself, and you can kind of tell in my struggle since they're already so constructed. Once you change one thing about it, it can be really difficult to get it back to the way that it was before. I also have some Hibiscus ones too, and I think I have, some Miko ones, but I mostly stick with the Northern Siberian Winds one and the Hibiscus ones. For eye presets, I have a couple also by Hibiscus. You can tell I have a favorite, but I don't really use them much. I kind of like to edit my eyes myself, but sometimes it's nice to have eye presets because they kind of give you a different, how would you say? It gives you like a different taste. Sometimes when you are making a lot of Sims, it can be difficult to make them look really different. So when you have presets, it's really great at doing that for you. This next part of creating my Sims is what I feel like makes or breaks the way they look. You can kind of see a little bit of the struggle that I have with the lashes. So with CC lashes, they come with their own shape. So when you shape your Sims eyes, sometimes the CC lashes don't fit that shape. So as much as I love them, I have to change them up so that they can fit the lashes and not look weird. Here you can see me do my overlays. I love me a good overlays. You can see that I'm like trying different ones, but at the end of the day, I always go back to the same one, and that is the Northern Siberian Winds one. You can see the difference between before and after it, but because it does change a lot, I do have to kind of go back and change some features because I feel like it kind of exaggerates some features. You can see me struggling to find a freckle overlay that goes well with my Northern Siberian one, but I found one. And I did also a nostril overlay. That's not something I do often. I just found it and I thought it looked nice on my Sim's nose. She has a very, very cute button nose. The next struggle is, of course, the hair. Oh my goodness, hair in The Sims. When you have a plethora of choices, it can be so difficult to find the one that fits your Sims. Sometimes I feel like I have no CC hair, and then I'm like, wait, the reason why I'm struggling is because I have too much CC hair. But I really do love the way that CC hair looks, and I just love how it complements everything. I had to take off the hair to see the body. I do use presets, but I edit them, of course, to my liking. And I wanted my girl to be on the thicker side, so that's exactly how I made her. I also added some skin details, like some body freckles. I really love those. I think they're so cute. And then I also gave her a little diabetes patch and a cleavage mask. Now let's talk about what really I feel makes or breaks your Sims, and that is the skin details. The difference between what your Sim looks like before and after a skin overlay is actually insane. You notice that majority of my skin overlays, the ones that I use on my Sims, are also by Northern Siberian Winds, and I like to use the full body one because it affects the entire body. So I will show you an example. Here is what my Sim looks like with the skin overlay, and this is what my Sim looks like without it. Like, can you tell that difference? The lips, everything changes. The whole body changes. Even in the chest area, can you see the difference? You don't really see any collarbone. You don't really see any definition, but you put it on and look at that. Amazing. You can customize your overlay to your preferences. It changes. Also, the skin color matters as well. We're gonna have her be, I think it was this one before. No, this one. Yeah, I really love an overlay. I really like the Northern Siberian ones, but some other creators that I like are the Twisted Cat ones. You can also, I forgot to mention, you can stack overlays. I personally don't like to do this. I just keep it one, but this is the Twisted Cat Dewy Skin one, and then this is also the Twisted Cat Glass Skin, and it'll tell you, it says face only, so it will only affect the face. I actually think that my Northern Siberian one was actually able to stay, so let me take that out. Yeah, okay. So here is the dewy skin one. Here's the glass skin, and I also have the fawn skin. There are also some other ones. I like to use this one sometimes. It's the chamomile one. That one makes your sim look really different. Other skin details that I like to use are the Setsuri hairlines. This is nice because some of the hairlines that come with the hairs are just so blunt. I see this more with like the Sims 4 hair, not the CC hair. So it's nice to be able to add a hairline. But as you can tell, when I add the hairline, it does remove my skin overlay. So I tend not to use it because I prefer to have a skin overlay. They also have some baby hairs that you can add as well. However, my favorite baby hairs to use are the ones by Twisted Cat, and you can tell that you are able to use them with skin overlays, but when I put them on, my freckles went away. So it's definitely a little game that you have to play of what works with what, because not all of them are compatible on both. But these baby hairs are so nice, realistic, and they definitely make a difference in your hairs. I also really love the Northern Siberian Winds dimples. I think they're so cute. They add so much character to your Sims, and you can have different kinds and you can choose how deep you want them to be. I think they're so nice. I really, really like them. After that, I think that's really the only skin details that I use. I'll use the moles that come with the game or like some beauty marks, but aside from that, these are the main ones that I use to create my Sims. And of course, for hair is a lot. Obviously, you can tell I have a lot of hairs. I love me some CC hairs, and I use a lot of different creators, but I will say some of my favorite are Gigi Sims hairs. I think they're so nice. Gigi Sims is great for curly hair. I just love it. She has such good hairs. I also really like to use Twisted Cats. I think her hairs are really nice as well. A.O. Harris Brittany is super nice hair. And I also use a lot of Dogsill. Dogsill has really nice bangs. Their hairs are so realistic and they have a texture to them that I notice other creators' hairs don't have that texture. I don't know what it is about Dogsill's hairs, but their texture is just immaculate. I love the way they look. Sim Trouble has really beautiful hairs as well. I love this hair. It's one of my favorites. I try not to use it too often. The same thing too with this curly hair. I try not to use it too often because it's just so nice. I actually think I ended up choosing this hair from Sims Trouble. So nice. I also use these hairs by Aretha B. Sims. I love. They have such nice hairstyles, and I love when they come with accessories. These ones, oh, so gorgeous. Moving on to the body, I also like to use presets for the body, and there are a variety I like to use. To be honest, I don't really have a specific creator that I use for my bodies. Even though I have the Biscarus ones, I don't really be using them that much. I have these random ones. I'll try and find them for you. Oh, this is the Gemini body preset by Pinkish World. I really like this one. I like this one by Peach Fairy too. It's so realistic, like the hip dips. I think they're so nice. I also really like these ones. I have no idea who they're by, but I'll try and find them for you. But I think these ones are super realistic too. And of course, you can go back in and edit them to your liking, which is what I like the most. For skin details, or body details on the skin, I like to use the Growing Together freckles. This one is a pack. I think they're so nice and realistic, and they just add so much depth to your Sims. And I like to use, if you notice, I think it's in Body Scars. Yes. I like to use a cleavage mask. This just makes your Sims cleavage a lot more realistic. Let me show you the difference. This is with the cleavage mask, and this is without. It kind of just adds a little bit more realism, especially when your Sim is wearing like a dress. You can really truly see the difference. Now, here is the part that I probably dread the most. I do not like dressing my Sims up, but it is a very tedious process that just makes your Sims look great. But when you have a lot of options, but you also feel like you don't have a lot of options, it can be tough. I really wanted her to have, again, like that cottagecore aesthetic. I wanted her to be like that bright, airy, fairy-like look. So I wanted her to wear like one of those sundresses or those milkmaid dresses that people have been hating on lately. I also really like to add some accessories like rings and jewelry. You can also see those nails. I think I use those nails on 99% of my Sims. I threw on some makeup. I love me some Sims makeup. It can be a little difficult because sometimes I feel like my Sims makeup always looks the same, but I just love the way that I chose to do her makeup. That lip liner, I kid you not, is one of my favorite ever creations in The Sims. I really am looking for more. If you have some more recommendations, please let me know. I ended up giving her a little piercing. I thought that really suited her nose. And I also gave her some earrings. And then we moved on to her second everyday outfit. Something about me is I always like to give my Sims multiple outfits for each section, simply because I feel like seeing my Sims with the same outfit every single day is so raggedy. So I love to change them up. Even though I just said I don't like to dress up my Sims a lot, I just feel like I had to change out their outfits. It's giving raggedy. It's giving you don't have enough clothes. So I always make sure to give my Sims multiple options to get dressed every day. And again, I'm doing some more accessories. A lot of my makeup consists of Twisted Cat. They have such nice eyeshadows and they're so realistic, like to what you would actually do. And they just complement your Sims so well. I also, for eyeliner, like to use the Crypticism eyeliners, and I like to use the Puyo Puyo ones. Those are super nice. Also, again, Twisted Cat has me in a chokehold when it comes to makeup. They also have me in a chokehold when it comes to lashes. They have some of the best lashes. I think, yeah, majority of my Sims have a Twisted Cat lash. These ones, I rarely ever use them. These Twisted Cat ones are always being used. They have such nice varieties. For blush, I use this one, the Powder Kiss blushes. I will try and find who created this. I have no idea, but I love it. I actually got this in a sim dump and I've been using it. I am heavy on the changing opacity. I feel like a lot of blushes are super dramatic, so being able to change the opacity is so helpful. Thank you, Sims, for doing something right. And then for lipsticks, again, we use a lot of Twisted Cat, and I like the Crypticism ones as well. For face paint, I really like the Twisted Cat again highlights. It's so cute. Like, can you tell the difference? So nice. And so realistic. And then I really like to use this Peachy Fairy lip liner, but as you can see, when you use that, the highlight goes away. So sometimes it's a battle. I really wish I could, I'm gonna see if I can try and find one that is compatible with the highlight, because I love the look of a lip liner, but sometimes I just feel like the highlight suits my Sim better. Real quick, something that I forgot to mention is my use of sliders. To be honest, I don't really use sliders when it comes to like those hip sliders and those arm sliders, just because I feel like they clog up my game and I have no necessity for them. So I always, if I have a sim dump, I just take them out because I don't feel like they're necessary. However, the slider that I do use is the height slider. So essentially, you just grab your Sim's neck and you can make them taller, or you can make them shorter. However, a key note when you do this is that when you use a height slider, just know that in the Sims game, it's a bit unnatural because all Sims are naturally the same height. So, for example, if I make my Sim really tall, you can tell based on her little profile right there that she's a bit too tall for the picture. Another example of this looking odd is pretty much like the biggest way you can see this is when your Sim is interacting with other Sims. For example, when my Sim is kissing another Sim, you can tell that their lips aren't touching and she's more like kissing his chest because she's too tall for that animation. So you just want to keep that in mind and maybe just make them not that dramatic because it will look odd. For clothes, there are a multitude of creators I really like. There's like so much, it's so hard to say, but I will mention a few of my favorite and the ones that you'll see me have the most of, and that is Sente. Sente is literally just absolutely amazing. I love them for formal outfits. I think they have such nice outfits, like come on. What I also really love about them is that majority, or I think all, but I'm gonna say majority because that's what I know of their CC items all have the same color palette. So it's really nice. You know what to expect. And if you want to kind of have like a similar color palette, you'll be able to find it in so many different ways. They also have, I also really like to use camouflage. Camouflage, I think I have like the early access one too. I pay for it because they have such cute items and it ranges from a variety of different things, whether that be outfits, pajamas. I use these pajamas a lot. You'll notice in my Let's Play. They have workout stuff. They just have so much. I love, love, love all of these. I also really like Aretha too. She has some really nice like flowy flowery stuff that I like. And I think that's, Rimmings is also really nice. Oh, I love that. Rimmings is really nice for outfits as well. Okay, we are coming up on the end of how I create a sim. So now you can see me choosing some formal outfits for my sim. Like I said, I really wanted her to be like this light, airy, fairy-like vibe. So I wanted her dress to really show that. I also was kind of thinking in terms of what if she has to play the harp at a wedding? Like I want her outfit to be sort of like wedding-like, but I also want her to live in Henford-on-Bagley. So I'm like, I want something that looks wedding-like that would work in Henford-on-Bagley. So I chose that beautiful long floral dress. I changed up her hair. This is something I like to do. I don't like to have my Sims have the same hair in every single outfit and in every single category. I think that's super unrealistic. So I like to make sure that everything stays the same. And here you can see me editing her makeup for her formal thing. One thing I forgot to mention is that click that copy button. The Sims added that and it was so nice. Click that copy button when it comes to piercings and when it comes to lashes. That is something I forget to mention and sometimes honestly something I forget to do. So make sure you do that. It'll save you so much time. Here I'm doing her little workout outfit. I just used that camouflage outfit that I showed you guys. So simple and so realistic. Use some pajamas. I love me some camouflage pajamas, but I wanted to change it up and I thought this suited her because it's just like so princessy. Moved on to her party outfit. I kind of wanted to have like the same idea of what if she has a wedding, but then I was like, you know what? She has a life outside of that. Like what is something that could fit her? And I feel like blues really work well with her skin tone. So I set that aside and I had her have a little bit more of like a foxy eyeshadow and eyeliner. I think that was so nice. I also changed up her lips. I really love that lipstick on her. And you can see me here with that piercing stuff again because I didn't hit that copy button. Hit that copy button, guys. It'll make life so much more easy. Bathing suits, I definitely feel like I need more of them, but you can see that I had to hit the copy button for nails too. But bathing suits, I definitely feel like I need more options, but I just chose a random one and made the color different from any other colors that she had. And I don't know what it is, but anytime I make the bathing suit option for my Sims, I always put their hair up. I feel like that's so realistic. Like you don't always want to get your hair wet. For the hot day, I decided let's do a dress. And I think she kind of looks like one of those, not Southern, one of those like Cape Cod girlies, especially with that accessory with the cardigan over her shoulders. I think that's so cute. And I changed up her hair as well. I wanted to see if I could put a bow, but it wouldn't work with the cardigan accessory. I also was trying to see if I could put a hairline on her because I felt like she looked bald on the front of her hairline, but I couldn't, so I just kept it like that. And then the last thing I did was a cold weather. To be honest, I'm not great at cold weather outfits, so I just kept it at that. This is my completed sim. This is her first everyday outfit, her second everyday outfit. So cute. This is her formal outfit. This is her athletic. This is her sleep. Her party. I love this color on her. Her swimwear. Her hot weather. And her cold weather. After I finished choosing up all the outfits, this is when I finally would name my sim, which I already named her. And this is when I would start to choose their aspirations and stuff. So I chose her aspiration to be a musical genius because she's going to be a professional harp player. And she has the practice make perfect trait. She has the loves outdoors trait, and she has the cottage core trait. This trait is a custom trait. I will link it down below. I do like to have a good old custom trait. And I used that instant CAS story to give her the musician branch. She has the violin skill because I couldn't find the harp skill. So I think I'll have to cheat that for her because it is a CC skill, so it might not be there. But it's going to be added to her. And then for her degree, she has the fine arts. Now, real quick, let's talk about where to find CC to dress up and create your Sims. My top 4 places are CurseForge, Pinterest, Tumblr, and Patreon. Those are what I find to be the safest. I have heard some things about CurseForge, but I don't really know if it's like true, so I just like keep it simple. But you do want to be careful because when you are installing CC and mods in The Sims, there is a chance that you might install a virus on your computer. Hence why Google always gives you a warning. Now, majority of the time, those warnings aren't like real. However, there are some times where people will download a mod and it will destroy their computer. So you want to be careful and you want to go and find reliable places to download mods and CC. I do plan on doing a video kind of like back to the basics about how to install mods and where to find them, how to make good choices when it comes to them, all that. So let me know if you do want to see that, but just be aware of that. I also wanted to mention some sim dump creators for those who don't enjoy CAS or those who are overwhelmed and tired of creating Sims all the time. I like to use Moon Ivy's Sims and I like to use Ren's Sims when I just need to spice up my game a little bit. This sim will also be for download, so if you want to have her in your game, you can click the link in the description. Alright, my loves, we have finally made it to the end of the video. I know it was a long one, but I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye!
Good day, mama, safe to take a step out. Yes, I'm in now.